In the setting of Dune and Dune Prophecy, spice is a basic need that must be understood if one wants to grasp the series. While there are new people and dynamics at work, Dune's chronology shows the HBO prequel series as being 10,000 years before the events of the movie, and there are many shared aspects. While it's pushed to the background in the current TV program, the original 1965 Dune novel by Frank Herbert and Denis Villeneuve's film adaptation centers on the planet Arrakis and the struggle over spice. Unlike many sci-fi planets that depend on the functions of artificial intelligence or highly powerful computers, the world of Dune depends on spice, known fully as spice melange. It's in charge of most Paul's arc in the narrative and the recognizable brilliant blue eyes Paul Atreides and Chani have in the Dune movies. One can grasp the characters and connections in Dune, but one must also know about spice, its function in the known universe, and its applications if one is to completely grasp the workings of the world. Managing spice production results power in the Dune franchise since spice permeates many facets of the Dune universe. Those tiny bits of orange dust have great power and impact. The most vital resource on Earth. It can only be gathered on Arrakis, a planet with a terrible natural environment and a population of people generally hostile to realm troops, known as Freemen. For the Imperium, this makes manufacturing spice a continual difficulty. Various houses have been assigned fiefdom of the planet to supervise the process, including House Atreides and House Harkonnen. Inspired by psychedelic mushrooms, spice has various reasons why it equates with power even if it can provide similar effects. A vital tool for the economics of the known world, spice can give its consumers skills and improvements. Navigators from the Spacing Guild regularly utilize it to map their courses before travel, therefore enabling them to precisely make hyperspace leaps without using computers, which are forbidden in the Dune world. These applications make manufacturing of spice worthwhile, despite great and ongoing difficulties. Dune's central conflict revolves around the value placed on the house selected to rule Arrakis, and Emperor Shaddam, for Carino proposes House Atreides to generate a conflict between them and House Harkonnen. How spice created conflict in Dune. The fundamental battle in the original Dune book and Denis Villeneuve's film adaptations is the war between House Atreides and House Harkonnen. Yet, Arrakis also recurs throughout the stories. Brian Hebert and Kevin J. Anderson tell, whether it takes front stage or not. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen is enraged when the domain of Arrakis is given to Duke Leto Atreides. Despite his efforts to regulate spice output, he schemes to bring House Atreides down all over the Dune film. Apart from the honorable homes, spice regularly causes strife between the Imperium and the Freemen, as Dune Prophecy reveals. For Freemen, spice is utilized for many purposes in daily life. They are totally dependent on its production to survive, so there is a natural conflict between them and outside powers who gather it. Though Freemen hate the foreigners visiting Arrakis for spice, Duke Leto Atreides was smart enough to see that a mutually beneficial relationship would be more effective than confrontation of them. Spice has Dune-specific powers. The Dune world uses spices for several purposes related to the human psyche. In Dune, the mind is the most powerful source instead of artificial intelligence or computers. Spice can be ingested to improve vision and activate latent parts of the brain. Since computers are absent, it is imperative to have improved human minds capable of serving their functions. Generally speaking, spice can also extend human life and satisfy many health needs. Like any drug, spice can lead to addiction from the user. Also, long-term use and exposure can produce physical changes. Because of their exposure, Freemen are famed for their brilliant blue eyes. The Spacing Guild navigators hardly resemble people after overindulgence. In Dune, spice is taken to augment Paul Atreides' prescience. Spice's place in Dune Prophecy clarified. Though no tale recounted in the Dune universe is free from its influence, Prophecy may not be as focused on spice as the movies. From Seleucus Secundus, Javico Carino is the emperor. Yet his rule over the known universe isn't as consistent as he would want it to be. Episode 1 reveals that Freeman attacks have hampered Arrakis' spice output. Javico suggests a marital arrangement with House Atreides in return for their fleet of fighter ships if he is to keep power and get affairs on Arrakis under line. Dune Prophecy centers on Desmond Hart, a soldier who remarkably survived his most recent stint on Arrakis. Having 12 trips under experience, his most recent ended with a horrific attack, killing every man in his group. Desmond survived this, then also survived being swallowed down underground by a big sandworm, which Javico sees in a hologram video at the end of Episode 1. Desmond emerged from the sandworms inside somehow with enigmatic new abilities connected perhaps to Spice. Spice also relates to the key prophecy in HBO's prequel program. The last vision of Mother Superior Raquella included a sandworm on Arrakis and Spice. Dune, though the flow of Spice permeates practically every element of the show, it is yet to have a whole sequence set on Arrakis. Every faction founded in the series, the Sisterhood, the Imperium, the Rebellion, have some share in the Spice flow. He who controls the Spice controls the universe, Baron Harkonnen declared in the first book.